WUFT-TV News.
This is a WUFT News Update. I'm Quan McWil. Dog attacks and aggression have some Alachua County residents concerned, but longtime trainers like Pepe Pereyuro says there are things that owners can do. Some of the basic forensic techniques that students acquire from this academy include scene assessment and photography, evidence collection and packaging, fingerprint processing and analysis. The spirit is great when everyone is in orange and blue. I'm ready for the homecoming parade and proud as a Gator, and so are you. Crews are getting ready for the 50th year anniversary of Gator National here at Gainesville Raceway. And more than 30 competitors show up for the top dragster race today. A suspected carjacker attempted to flee and sideswipe into 3 other vehicles, leaving significant damages, as you can see on this one. Mumford says these gears will protect firefighters from heat exposure, but not the generated particles. Despite the stigmatism, Florida is seeing a growth in medical marijuana industry. Every kid at this Christmas show party will receive 3 toys, and the luckier ones will receive this bike right here.
Please be reminded that we are meeting with non-instructional at 12:30.
They call this the home of the bears. Not the lovable stuffed type, more like these animated cubs performing some sort of sign language.
These bear essentials are important for our lives, especially in the future.
Look closer and see if you can make out some letters.
We have this little saying, of bears. So the B-E, the A, and the R. So we have, be your best, everyone's safe, active learners, and be respectful and responsible.
Veteran teacher Brian Hunt says these qualities don't just conveniently spell out the word bear, they also embody another name.
When this school was built, we decided to name it after a veteran. That was quite a challenge because they had not done that before. And they chose Hammett Bowen.
This coin is a great remembrance of the special day that we dedicated Hammett Bowen Junior Elementary School.
Maury and Hammett were friends together through college before Hammett left to fight in the Vietnam War.
He was a leader, and so he challenged everybody to pitch in and work together.
They both went to Ocala High School with Dee Beck.
Holler across the field at each other when we were up on A and B wings of the high school.
She later married Hammett's brother, Keith.
It was fun. Keith was taller than Hammett Jr. There wasn't much difference between the boys. They were 18 months apart in age.
Dee Bowen is one of the last surviving members of the family living in Ocala.
Say you're out in public and somebody says, "Oh, I know who you are. You're Hammett's sister-in-law." There's that pain.
Staff Sergeant Hammett Bowen Jr. was killed in Vietnam when he was just 21. Over the years, schools, roads, and monuments were named after him in honor of his sacrifice.
In a combat area and were engaged in a firefight, and they were outnumbered.
June 27, 1969.
Next thing they know, a hand grenade landed right in the middle of where they were at.
Pull back as Hammett shouted to his fellow soldiers before he threw himself into that grenade.
The rest of his troops, as long as they lived.
It torments those who survive.
I had to think about, he cared about them that much.
Just as family members bear the emptiness,
There was always a place set for Hammett Jr. at the table on the holidays,
which was then filled with love and recognition.
Hammett Jr. would do it all over again.
The courage of this young American hero earned him the nation's highest decoration for military, the Medal of Honor.
Freedom is not free.
Although Hammett never returned from that split-second decision to give up his life for his country, he did blaze a trail for generations of patriots.
It's so important that we stop and reflect as we see these monuments. Even for me, my son.
Ocala's Veterans Memorial Park has been a frequent stop since Maury retired as chief from the Ocala Police Department.
They always are drawn to this monument, having the eagle on top.
Some friendships just can't be measured, but only treasured, as sometimes gestures can speak louder than words.
Best. Everyone's safe. Active learner.
Just ask the bright young man in the front row how he wrote the next chapter of history. A chapter that ends with courage.
Have a bear-tastic day.
Quan McWil, WUFT News. Some of the audience members, including Michael Rochelle's own daughter, Caroline, broke into tears when the jury delivered the verdict.
As to count one, the defendant is guilty of attempted first-degree murder as charged in count one of the information.
Emotions erupted from Michael Rochelle's family inside the courtroom Thursday night, as a jury found a 63-year-old Gainesville man guilty of attempting to kill his wife, Susan O'Brien Rochelle, the night of February 2, 2018, an incident that ended with this 911 call the next morning.
What status emergency?
And my wife and I need an ambulance from Toledo.
Which, according to state prosecutors, came after Michael had stabbed his wife and forced her to go along with his story about a home invasion.
She will say absolutely anything to get to a hospital. She will say anything that she has to get out of his control.
The defense argued Susan's angry text messages, physical abuses against Michael, and even suicidal intentions in the past suggest Michael was defending himself.
He worked his butt off to make some money, and he was very generous with it. And for them to stand up and suggest that he would try to kill somebody over money is ridiculous.
The predominantly female jury also found Michael Rochelle guilty of false imprisonment, depriving the victim of medical care, tampering with the victim and evidence, as a result of his action to turn off security cameras inside the house.
Mr. McGinnis, do you have any statements regarding the trial today?
I do not.
And that is one of Michael Rochelle's defense attorneys, Patrick McGinnis. He didn't want to give any statements. For now, reporting outside the Alachua County Courthouse, I'm Quan McWil, WUFT News.
I like it when y'all call me to help. That's my thing.
Many people know Rich Johnson by his Christian shirts.
No, if there's one way you want to make me mad, then don't call me.
And that megawatt smile he wears. A smile you can often find. At Gulf Marine in Panama City, Rich runs this boat dealership with his slogan,
"Ride the new wave."
He's recently a part of a new wave of changes. A non-profit dedicated to communities affected by Hurricane Michael.
Yeah, he's amazing.
These volunteers box donations like paper towels, canned foods, and snacks.
Not only did he provide us with a space to make this happen today, he also contributed financially to help purchase all the food for the boxes as well.
Then stack them into Rich's trailer.
Headed to Foxwood Apartments, Panama City. It's a low-income housing area that's got really hurt from the storm.
Delivering these essential items to families still struggling after Hurricane Michael. People like Brittany Pitts and her 4 kids who stayed in a tent city waiting for their apartment to be fixed.
I think that he just finds it in his heart that this is what he's led to do.
The hurricane also destroyed Rich's home.
I went through the little spell of, definitely upset and having to replace, or having to find a new place.
After Hurricane Michael, there was a change of heart in Rich Johnson. He started to load his trailer with more than just boat supplies. Now it's filled with love. Bringing help to households still in need. This couple lives in a shed in their daughter's backyard.
He could play like 9, 10 different instruments. He got to play with Elvis Presley when he was a teenager.
Cynthia suffers from broken bones where her husband Bill could barely see anymore because of cataracts.
Went over to Walmart and we get Mr. Bill some clothes, and we get them some food and supplies and stuff like that, and just something to help them and just to know that there's people out there that care about them.
I think God puts people in your way to help you. He's definitely one of God's angels.
Real heroes seldom say they are.
No, absolutely not. But keep doing what I'm doing and continuing to help these amazing people.
Quan McWil, WUFT News.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.